Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today I wanted to do my art around the world, which is what I do every Tuesday. And for the month of July, I am doing Antarctica. And for this video, there really isn't anything to look at unless we flip through a governmental webpage together. So I thought instead I would do a draw with me, and all I have is just a piece of paper and a Micron pen 05 that's black, and I'm going to be doodling one of the very cute animals that you can find in Antarctica, and that's an emperor penguin, and I'm going to attempt to do a little baby. So stick with me, we're gonna see how well this goes. So to fully talk about Antarctica, I kind of have to put it into context. So technically Antarctica is governed by about 30 countries, and they are all party to the 1959 Antarctic Treaty, and that's when that was signed. And I will link a video talking about that. There is some funny creators that have done some great animated shorts about the ownership of Antarctica, so I'll link one of those below. That's just lovely. So in the summer, about 5,000 people reside in research stations, and in the winter that falls down to about 1,000. Obviously, because the weather is so cold and windy, and yes. So the folks that are there participate sort of in fishing, tourism, and research. And those are just the main, that's kind of what goes on with the people who stay there. And if you're interested in the science of Antarctica, maybe you're interested in geology, biodiversity, sort of climate or climate change, organisms, I will link the Wikipedia page about Antarctica because it is absolutely fascinating, and they did a very thorough job in culling and putting together all the information for that. So the US government, there's the National Science Foundation, and it's an independent agency of the US government, and it was founded in 1950. Get some eyes going on here. And now this agency funds research and education in the science and engineering sort of categories. And in the 1970s, the first annual Antarctic Artist in Residency program was established. So what is that? Art in residency is where artists and other creator professionals can stay and work elsewhere temporarily. Here artists can explore and work elsewhere. They can see new locations, visit different places, learn about different cultures, experiment with different mediums and tools, materials. Some of these are free. Some of these cost money. You have to pay to attend, and some of these they pay you. So they really vary, and I would highly suggest you do research if that is something you are interested in. But one such residency is the Antarctic Artists and Writers Program. And again, this was it's all funded by the National Science Foundation. And this program I'm talking about is from the United States, and therefore, to be able to apply to this program, you must be either a US citizen or your permanent residence must be the United States, and you must be at least 21 years old. There's a few rules here with this to be able to apply. Now, other countries have their own art in residency program or fellowship program. Go on Google, look it up. I accidentally stumbled across New Zealand's and one that belonged to a college elsewhere, and I wasn't even looking for it. So the information is there. It is widely available. So because I live in the US, that's sort of the one I'm going to be discussing in length, because that's the one that's relevant to me. And so this program provides opportunities for artists like painters, photographers, writers to work, videographers. I mean, your imagination really is the limit here. And they get to stay in, make observations at the US Antarctic Program Station. There's research camps and wilderness areas. So the US Research Station is named McMurdo Station, and it can house over 1,000 people. It's one of the larger ones. Yeah, we have a huge one. And there are over actually 70 permanent and seasonal research stations on the continent. So there's a bunch from several countries. And just making sure I'm not going over my time here. When you go to, so, okay, right now the program is currently suspended, and that is because of COVID. But I'm seeing this as an okay thing. Because when you go to apply, it's a process. It's a huge process. And you need to have a proposal. You know, it can't be bigger than 15 pages. There's a bunch of work that has to be done. It's not sort of like you submit a really quick little application and then you sit back and wait for them to accept you. You have to put in a lot of work, and it has to be a very thoughtful project that you want to work on and prove that, you know, Antarctica is the place for it, and this is why. So after the proposal, if they accept it, they grant you, they give you money, but not directly. So they pay for things. So you will be awarded things paid for. And what they pay for is to get folks to the Southern Hemisphere, which it's either Chile or New Zealand. And then from there, they provide the way to get to Antarctica. And they help provide outdoor polar clothing. They provide room and board. Artists are responsible for meals and lodging between the travel points. You have to have a medical exam to prove that you are healthy. I imagine there's quite a bit of hiking that's entailed, and so I would say that all of that is for the betterment of the artist. So there's a medical and dental. And there's a 12-page sort of PDF that's absolutely fascinating that talks about all the different things, and I will link that too. There's also a grant writing book for artists. If you are interested in doing large things or public things or getting things paid for by the government, if that's a route you want to take in your artistic journey, I will link that book in the description box. It could be something that you could recommend to your local library if you're doing a no-buy. There's also a list of past participants in this National Science Foundation webpage, and I think this program is one of the coolest things that I have just seen in a while. There are tons of artist residencies by location, by interest. Like, do you do comic books? There's one for that. And I think providing one to Antarctica is such a unique experience because most people don't live in places that are anything like Antarctica. I know I don't. There are artist residencies where I live, just because where I live is kind of unusual too, but I just think that that is absolutely fascinating. And I think it'd be super fun to sort of just be in the presence of scientists studying geology and a bunch of things with the climate and the snow and all of that. It's really, really cool. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Here's my emperor penguin baby, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.